I appreciate the time. We're really excited to kind of be a part of this and be, amongst some of the amazing builders that you guys have had present so far, and kind of introduce us and what we do. We are going to attempt to give a little bit of a tour of a couple of our tiny homes. We're going to try to figure out how to rotate the camera on this. Again, learning some tech is always fun.
Yeah,
But we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about us and our background and kind of what we kind of have found our niche to be in the space. So
awesome.
my
Well,
name's Mike.
love that. I'm gonna
We
I'm gonna go ahead and disappear and let you just go
Okay.
for it.
All right, Zach, thank you. So we are a family owned and operated tiny home builder in Central Florida. We are based in Melbourne, Florida, and our story began when we were kids. Our father was a general contractor for many, many years, and we worked with him for many summers through school and really started to kind of learn the trade and have some passion for the trade. And when I got out of high school, I got right into the construction industry, started a framing business, and really did a ton of residential construction here in the general Melbourne area for multiple years. And then we really had, as many of you know, the crash of the market. We were really doing a lot of new construction stuff, and we had the famous 2008 market crash. And it was really just a difficult time here in our general area for construction for multiple reasons. Not only was the market crash a difficult one to do, but it was also because NASA had also closed down, and NASA's here within about an hour of our general area. So Cape Canaveral, where they launch the shuttles now on a regular basis, but they shut that part of the government kind of down for a little bit. So we really had a hard hit construction industry phase in this general area. So we stepped away from construction completely for a few years. We still dabbled in our entrepreneurship. We owned a couple of CrossFit gyms and kind of got into that for a while. But around 2016, early 2016, I was really getting the itch to get back into building and doing construction again. It's in my blood. It's kind of a core competency of mine, and it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. And so we started to get that itch again, and my wife and I were looking at downsizing, at minimalizing kind of our lifestyle and bringing everything down a little bit. And that's where the kind of tiny home space kind of opened up to us. And we started looking around. We knew that we would build the unit ourselves, but we really started looking around. Like many of you probably are. We didn't have these webinars back then, but we were really kind of looking for something that fit our needs and looking for design options and ideas. And everything that we were seeing around that time was a much smaller footprint, something, that all had lofted bedrooms and, really kind of that ultra, what I call kind of cabin look with the pine interior, clear pine interior. But the early designs really didn't bring any kind of modern architecture in with them. And there wasn't really anybody doing custom work. And we kind of looked at the opportunity to say, why isn't anybody doing custom work? So when we first kind of sat down and came up with our business plan, we really started our business plan with the idea that we were going to go in and offer full custom options for anybody that wanted to kind of come to Movable Roots to have them build a home. What we kind of found in our own situation was, downsizing to sub 400 square feet, that we really needed the space to work and function how we needed it to work. And that might not be, how somebody else needs it to work. And, what we were finding were builders had, 5 or 6 models, and they would do, some would not allow any customization. Some would allow kind of a semi customization where you would come in and, choose some differences that they would allow. But for the most part, the main structure was the same. And that just didn't work for us and what we had kind of in our mind of what we wanted. So when we first started, we went into this business saying that we were going to be, full custom, and we still are today. We still offer complete carte blanche options for customers for everything from tiny homes on wheels to commercial hospitality. We've done quite a few commercial space units. We've done a food truck. We've done a few bagel shops. We've done a chapel. We've done a mobile jewelry store. We've got a couple of mobile educational units that are coming up. So, and then on the housing side, what really people would come to us and they would express to us that they liked this about this model and this about this model, and they needed to kind of tweak it. So really what happens with us, unless a customer comes to us and says, I want this exact model that is on your website. And really the units that are on our websites are really not models per se. They're actually units that we built for a custom customer. And we typically take their last name and name it on our website. And I think if we can't do a tour, I'm going to share my screen here in a little bit, and we'll go to our website and kind of show a few of the builds that we've done. But we've done everything from the mobile hospitality kind of space, the tiny home on wheels, which is kind of that smaller space, and even into the park model space, where the park model is that wider, longer unit. Still has to be under that 400 square foot max on the main floor. But can, not counting loft, not counting porches, those kinds of things. So, and now we've spent the last year in the modular certification process and coming up with a couple of designs in that space that will allow a unit to be placed on a permanent foundation. And that process here in Florida is pretty rigorous, because we have hurricanes and wind loads that we have to meet. And so for us, one of the biggest restrictions that we saw for placement of tiny homes was that, it was very difficult, if not impossible, for you to buy a piece of property and then take a tiny home on wheels and put it on there as your primary residence, unless you were in an area, maybe a very rural area, or you had the opportunity to get something like some agricultural zone land, or a non-restriction or unrestricted land opportunity. In Florida, there's not a lot of that, right? You go into some other states. I know some of the other states in the Southeast, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, some of those states have a little bit more of those opportunities. But a lot of our Southeastern customers were having that issue with, how do I place this? I still want to own my own land. I don't necessarily want to be in a community. So, we started looking at that modular aspect, because it does make that process. And a lot of that is because of how the units are inspected and built to, right? So tiny homes on wheels, they are built to the RV standard, right? So they can go in, most of the time, they can go in just about any RV park or tiny home community. They're mostly set up for that transient kind of, ability to kind of move your home in and out. And Florida does have a lot of those RV and a few tiny home community options. But again, it's just not for everyone. So what we started kind of looking at was, how do we solve this problem for some of our customers? And in the reality, some of our customers didn't really want to be mobile either. They really wanted something that was their own, but they wanted that small square footage range. So we do have a couple of models on the modular side that range from around that 500 square feet in a 1-1 unit all the way up to about 850 square feet in a 2-2 unit. And we're going into that space also with the ability to have a complete carte blanche option for design, which again in the modular space is really not that that common. What we have done is we've partnered with a designer out of California who specializes in custom design modular space. And, so we have that ability for a customer to come to us and say, hey, I want the modular unit. I want it to be placed on a foundation. And I would like for it to be, however many square feet, or I want it this way or that way. And we have that ability working with that customer. Now, there is quite a significant design fee to do the custom modular option. You're looking at every bit of about 15,000 in just plans just to go down that route for a modular unit that is custom, because it has to meet all of the stringent building code requirements. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'll take you guys to our website. But let me look here. I know Nikki is on and she's answering some of the questions. So I believe I've got my screen being shared here. Wanted to kind of show some of what we do. Again, talking about the items that we kind of specialize in and work in. Tiny homes on wheels. These are going to be the more mobile units that you can hook up and go to without any type of issue. We've got park model options, which are designed just like in the name. They're designed to go somewhere and set on a foundation or set permanently, not necessarily on a foundation. The trailer stays on them with the wheels. They're blocked up and skirted, kind of like the image here. And then the commercial hospitality space, again, something that's on wheels, it's mobile. We've got a lot of businesses that have come to us that want something out of the ordinary for their branding. And then we've got the modular space. So these units here on the tiny homes on wheels, these are all units that we have built for a customer. They've come to us and said, hey, this is how I want my unit to look. These are options that we would like in our tiny home. And, we start from there. A lot of the customers that are searching us out like the fact that we have the, metal frame walls. This unit here had, awning kind of set up in its, done a couple of awnings. We've done full solar units. Couple of really large units, again, looking for main floor master bedroom options. And, colors come in and, customers come in and pick their own colors, right? So this was the first unit that we built here in 2017. We took this to a couple of different shows, and it really just kind of knocked the socks off of a lot of people. That we had these blue cabinets. That was really not something that was being seen in 2017. We had, really rustic kind of flooring, but modern kind of countertops. So this was really something that wasn't really seen in the space. It was 34 feet long. We had a tile shower set up, full flush toilet, really designed to be livable. This was kind of something that we were looking for in the space, and that's why we brought that into the design. Master bedrooms on the main floor. And again, blue cabinets aren't for everybody, right? So, we've had customers come to us and say, hey, I love this design, but I need to tweak this and this, and I want to move this. And we use this as a guideline in the custom design process, right? So, I'll get to a couple other images here and find. So here's this was a main floor master bedroom, and a couple of the shows that we went to, we were the only ones there in 2017 that had this as an option, and it really was. And we weren't the only builders that were doing this at that time, but it really was few and far between for sure. And you know, the full customization options is definitely something that is a little bit different, you know, in our space, because we really have to take into consideration, you know, where our wheel wells are placed. You know, like in this picture here, you can see, you know, there's a wheel well here. So this entryway, we actually have to kind of step in and down into the space. Cabinetry kind of hides the wheel well on the other side. But again, something that is really different for the space. Now you get into some of the larger park models, and we'll show this one here. Being custom, you will notice that our prices are quite a bit more expensive. This unit here has a full, we can do a 3D tour. This unit here has complete built-in appliances, full front porch setting, fireplace. It's all screened in, which in Florida, if you've ever been around any of the lovely mosquitoes that we have in Florida, it's definitely nice to kind of have that option to sit out there and not be in those elements. But again, coming into this space, it's really hard to believe, but this unit is only 399 square feet. So from this double door all the way to the back is 399 square feet. Now, that does not count the lofts, because you can't stand up in the lofts, and it doesn't count the front porch. But built-in refrigerator, really high-end kind of appliances and fit and finish. Another fireplace and TV. So we built this unit for a customer who has an equestrian center in Ocala, and they needed some short-term rental options. So they ended up getting 4 of these units from us to kind of house some people while they come and are part of the equestrian center's kind of activities. So again, a master bedroom on the main floor. There's closet space over here, full washer and dryer setting there. And again, we're making use of every space that we can. Behind this wall right here is a 50-gallon tank water heater. We're making use of the space in the stairs here as well for storage. And I'll go upstairs here kind of quickly. I know we're kind of cramped for time. I'm kind of long-winded when I talk, so I believe Nikki is answering most of the questions and getting to those. So maybe we'll take a few minutes and make sure that I answer some of them. But up here, this was kind of like a little playroom. It's really meant for, you know, a couple of kids, twin bed, and it mirrors on this side. So really just a different, you know, completely different floor plan, something different that the customer, you know, wanted, and we were able to provide for them. See how to exit out of this Matterport. So we were able to kind of take you through a couple of units there. Our website has just about everything that we've designed so far. You know, would love for you to kind of check out some of the modular stuff that we've got going on as well. That's in another tab there. I know we're really kind of short on time here. Am I still sharing my screen, Nikki? There any questions that I need to answer, or were you able to get them all, Nikki? What's that? You got them all? Okay. So for one, somebody's asking something about shells. We do offer a shell package, and that's where basically we go through and design. Everything that we build starts with the design process. Nothing gets touched or ordered or anything until the design is done. And that's mainly because it's everything has to be so precise in a tiny home. And I know I think I heard Fritz talking about how everything needs to be, planned for. In the residential world, when I was building in the residential world, you'd have a trade miss a rough in, maybe an electrical rough in or a plumbing rough in, and you needed to move a wall to hide that mistake, and it wouldn't affect anything. In a tiny home space, if we miss something by as much as a quarter to a half an inch, that means that something else isn't going to fit. So the precision that is in the design of the tiny home space is very, very intricate. And so what we typically just suggest on the shell side of things is to allow us to take you through the design phase, and then also we will build up to trade rough-ins. So that means that we, have trailer walls, all your windows are in, all the trade rough-ins are in, because again, getting a plumber or an electrician or an HVAC guy or gal to come and try to do that from the start is a crazy learning curve. If it's not something that they've ever done, trying to get utilities from one end of a unit to the other end of the unit is one of the biggest learning curves that we had in this entire process. So, definitely something that we suggest on a shell basis. There's plenty of talented people out there that want to build their own and do the DIY process. And we've done multiple for customers. And what they really kind of, the feedback that we get from them, and I'll share that with you, is one, for sure those trades, if we're able to do the rough-ins, those trades then are able to take it from the rough-in to trim out and finish, because it at that point is just like it would be in a normal residential setting. And then also the amount of time that it really took the DIYer to tackle the job. You think about working a full-time 40-hour week, and then only having evenings and weekends to work on the unit. Really overestimate the amount of time that you think it will take to finish a unit. We have some of our builds, we have upwards of 1,000 man hours in them by the time we're done with our entire crew, with custom cabinetry and different things like that. And that's working full time, right? So shells are definitely an option. And we really kind of walk through with the customer on that process of kind of how to work through that a little bit. I think I see some questions here on trailers. We did originally start building our own trailers. It was something that we had the capability to do. But what we really found in the beginning was that it bogged our system down as far as our processes, right? So you have this big trailer that really needs to be painted and handled correctly. The fabrication side of it, some of them, flipping these trailers to get the belly pans on them and things like that, it really kind of bogged our system down. So I think the first 10 homes we built our own trailers, and then we started buying trailers from another manufacturer that would build the trailer how we wanted. That was a whole nother a scenario of getting in with a trailer manufacturer who would take our specs of how we wanted the trailer to be built. Different trailer styles. You have your standard trailer where a majority of our homes are built on, where the trailer deck is roughly about 24 inches off of the road. And then you have that wheel well to kind of deal with in some of those scenarios. Then you have what's called a deck over trailer, where the deck or the floor of the trailer is above the wheel well. So on the interior, you don't have any type of wheel well to deal with as far as, kind of inhibiting the space. The negative to a deck over is typically if you're going to have a loft, A deck over rides right around that 32 to 34 inches in height. So you really have to take that into consideration when your max height is 13.6, and now you've lost almost a foot from the standard, 24-inch trailer with a wheel well to the deck over, and that really comes out of that headroom in the loft. So again, that's something that we walk through with our customers, and ultimately, the process with us really starts with getting to know the customer and what their end game is. What do they plan to do with the unit? How do they see themselves living in the unit? Anything else that I haven't answered? I know we've got a couple of minutes here. I'm good on the questions. Really just wanted to say thank anybody and thank everybody for really kind of taking the time out of their day during the week to come to the event. It's really great that Zach and the team have put this together to really give us an opportunity and the other builders an opportunity to chat and tell a little bit about our story and the things that kind of make us a little bit different in here. I think every builder that they have lined up here puts out an amazing product. So it's really just finding that builder that you really connect with. I will kind of touch base. I've got a couple of minutes. I want to touch base on really doing your due diligence when you are looking to purchase a home. There are unfortunately a lot of scammers in this business. There's a lot of people taking people's life savings and really not producing a product or not standing behind a product with any type of warranty. I really highly suggest that everyone do their due diligence and really, dig into your builder, the person or a group of builders that you're looking at. Really, get in and compare apples to apples. Look at customer reviews. Ask to speak to customers. We've got a situation here in Florida where there's a gentleman building some tiny homes, and he's taking some people's money, and there's a lot of people kind of after him now because he had a website with a bunch of made up customer reviews and things, and it just really presented well, and now there's some people that are missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars because they unfortunately trusted somebody. So really, please dig into your builder that you choose. Make sure that they're properly insured. Look at their certifications. Make sure they have all of those things in place, because it really is important, especially when you're looking at spending a lot of money and having somebody build you a home.
Absolutely. That's I couldn't agree more. Definitely got to do your research. The due diligence is super, super important. Well, Mike, thank you so much. We love the tour that you gave us. It's awesome to be able to see your beautiful tiny homes and everything. Thanks for taking the time to share. And yeah, looking forward to doing more of this with you guys in the future.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry I won't be in the builders group later, but if anybody needs anything or wants to get a hold of us, they can reach out through our website.
Good, good. Awesome. Absolutely. Well, thanks, Mike. And thanks, Nikki, for
Thank
the
you, guys.
support too. Talk to you guys
Bye now.
later.